What up, y'all? Back here with the next edition of my doom metal section here. Sorry, I'm a little late here. I try to do 2 a week, but you know, you guys are gonna at least get me to make one of these every week. I feel like I'm doing my best. We're getting close, y'all. We're on the last 2 tiers here, and then there's a little bit on this one, but like, we're getting there. So I'm gonna keep rolling with this. We got some banging jams in the background. Doom Sword, Let Battle Commence. You guys heard me talk about this one in my last edition. This part of my collection has made me really want to listen to a lot of this kind of stuff. Like I was listening to Solitude Eternus earlier today. Stuff like that. Really hyped on it. I really like this kind of stuff. And it kind of reminds me how much I really do like it now that I'm like sitting here going through it all. We are going to be drinking a beer. Old Fezziwig by Sam Adams. My buddy who runs a beer page called the Nerdy Beer Guys posted about this on the Nerdy Beer Guys page, and I swiped up and I was like, dude, I don't know what it is, but I want to try it. So I wound up finding a 6-pack of it. This is the first time I'm trying it on camera. I've had people say that I should do beer reviews. What do you guys think of that idea? If you guys would be interested in me reviewing beers, let me know. I could even possibly get some buddies in on that too. I brew beer for a living, and the guy I brew with has said in the past that he would be down to do one. I don't particularly remember. Stupid keys. Whatever. Alright, so. Wow, it smells amazing. Wow. If you guys ever see this, buy it. It is like bready and malty. It kind of tastes like a loaf of bread baked with Christmas spices. So like allspice and nutmeg and ginger. Wow. All right. That's enough not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Really good. Try that beer if you ever see it. We're going to be in the P's. We're going to end in W's. This is the last of the regular Doom section. After this is going to be Stoner and Sludge. We have Foundations of Burden by Pallbearer. So this is a band that I like. I'm pretty sure I've seen them live, but I honestly don't remember. I've been to so many shows, they kind of bleed together sometimes. And I got these two from Pallbearer, which is this one's, Foundations of Burden. And then I also have, that's the second record, and this is the third one, which is Heartless. I got both of these when my buddy, who I used to go to shows with all the time, was selling off his metal collection. So I snagged these bad boys from him, and I like them. I don't listen to them very much, but I like it every time I hear it. And like I said, doing these videos has made me really want to listen to more of this Doom stuff. So I'm going to have to revisit that, and you're going to notice this is a trend in this half of my stack, that I have things that I need to revisit, and I'm glad that I'm going through them to do that. So Pallbearer will get put on the player again sometime. I haven't listened to them since the last time I played them in a video, which was at least a year ago. So Pallbearer, one of my favorite new wave of British heavy metal bands. Pagan Altar, this is Lords of Hypocrisy. This is their third record from 2004 out in Shadow Kingdom. They had their first record, Volume 1, and then some demos and stuff way back in the day. And this band is just amazing. I love this band. Some of the songs are kind of goofy, but they're spooky, occult-themed, doomy, traditional metal. Definitely kind of like the forefront of the Saint Vitus style, things like that. It's a really solid record. None of these tracks on here are really jumping out at me comparatively, because I haven't listened to this one quite as much as I've listened to this one, which is Judgment of the Dead. I got into this band with the title track of this record when I would say I was 7th or 8th grade. So what does that put you? 13-ish, around 13. I first heard this Evan Smith, he's a pro skateboarder. He put out a part on Element Skateboards, and it was to Judgment of the Dead. That was the song in the background of the skating video, and I was like, what is this? This is crazy. It's a really creepy song, some stuff in Latin, all kinds of spooky stuff, things like that. It's a really solid record, really creepy, really eerie, And the guy's vocals, who is the guitar player's dad, which is really weird to play in a metal band with your dad as the singer to an extent. Not if it's like a legacy act like the Cavalieras and stuff like that. I think that's a little less odd. But this is Pagan Altar. Just killing it. Another, possibly my favorite doom band, if you don't count like Sabbath or Candle. Okay, never mind. Candleman's my favorite doom band. But Pentagram, Day of Reckoning. I recently got this one in and I listened to it and I was like, oh, I already know most of these songs. Because back in the day, I used to, download a bunch of these kind of songs. And when I was getting into these bands, I would just download songs. Just download them, listen through them. And I wound up just learning a bunch of random stuff from all over their catalog. Same thing with Pagan Altar. Different bands like that. And I've always loved this band. This album cover is really, really creepy in a really weird way. I can't tell, is that like a tomb? Is it a mausoleum? Yeah, I'm imagining that's a tomb. It's a great record. But my favorite is Relentless. I know this album front to back. Like pretty much every song, I could sing you something from almost every song on here. And I've just heard this so many times. This band is creepy. This band is uncomfortable sounding, really spooky, just doomy stuff. These guys, one of my favorite songs ever is All Your Sins is on here. The song Sinister is super creepy. The song 20 Buck Spin is what I imagine 20 Buck Spin got their name from, I imagine. Not sure, but Sign of the Wolf is really great. Really great song. And Be Forewarned, which the song Be Forewarned is one of the first ones that I ever heard from Pentagram. It was that and what is it? Forever My Queen. I'm running away with myself. That song was the first one I ever heard. Creepy image of some vampiric nonsense on the front. I really like the orange. I think it's really creepy and uncomfortable. Again, that's the best way I could describe this band if I haven't said that enough times. But yeah, this record all around is great. I really like this diagram on how to slay a vampire on the inside. I actually just finished Bram Stoker's Dracula, and it's just, it's fresh in my mind, so seeing all this vampire stuff's cool. Wolf's Blood is one of my favorite tracks on here, but Live Free and Burn is amazing. Vampire Love is another great one. Petrified's a great song, but Be Forewarned's probably Be Forewarned or Wolf's Blood. Those are the two favorites on here for me. But really great stuff. So another one I got from a buddy, a different buddy this time. This is Void Worship by Pilgrim. I don't have the debut from Pilgrim, but this is a doom band from Rhode Island. And, I've had this for a long time, and I haven't listened to it a million times. I've listened to it a couple of times, but nothing too crazy. It's an all-around a really great record. It's really trudgingly slow. Like, they're creeping along at, like, almost funeral doom paces at some points, but the whole time that they're doing that, it's still maintaining, like, a stoner feel, almost to an extent. It's very peculiar, and I think it works really well texturally. And I have one more from Pilgrim, which is Misery Wizard, which is a really funny name. That kind of looks like a Reverend Bizarre album cover. I don't really know what the deal is with all this, but it looks like some pestilences going on in the front or something. But I haven't spent a lot of time with this record. I recently got this one earlier this year. I really have only played it once, but it's pretty much more of the same. A little more realized. Sadly, this band is defunct. The main guy behind the band is passed away as of 2017, I think. So RIP to that dude. Sucks you had to pass on. It would have been great to get more Pilgrim stuff and see you live a happy life, Speaking of Reverend Bizarre, that's where we're at now. I don't have the earlier stuff. I have Reverend Bizarre 3, So Long Suckers. These guys got kind of goofy in their later years. I don't think they're around anymore, but they're from Finland. This is Spike Farm Records, which I don't know if that's real or if they're kidding, but really goofy, but still really good doom. In the old school vein, your St. Vituses and your early Cathedral, things like that. Really all around decent stuff. Not the most amazing thing you ever heard, but they're good at what they do. Speaking of traditional doom, at St. Vitus 5, I have some earlier St. Vitus on vinyl, but this is the only CD that I have from this band, and I liked it. I wasn't as particularly impressed with this as I have been by other things I've heard from St. Vitus, but it's a pretty good record nonetheless. I mean, it just really just doesn't hit the spot quite like the first handful of records did. And, you know, it's another thing that I'm going to want to spend more time with later on. St. Vitus. Next, we got Solitude Aeturnus with Through the Darkest Hour. This is their third record from 1996. I was listening to their first record today, which you guys will see an update later on. But this is a really good record. I've only really heard this probably the one time. It's just something that's kind of fallen by the wayside, and to me, they sound a lot like Candlemass. So if I'm in the mood for something like Candlemass, I'll just listen to Candlemass. But, you know, it's kind of nice to have more albums that kind of sound like that. And they do have their own thing going on as well. But it really does sound a lot like Candlemass. Even to the point of, you know, Rob Lowe wearing the Friars clothing and everything like that. But Solitude Aeturnus is a good band for sure. Another one in the epic style is Lamentations by Solstice. This is the Cosmic Key Creations reissue, as you can probably tell by the goofy jewel case. This is a classic from 1994 as well, 94 I believe, and this is just a really solid English doom album. It kind of takes a little bit from like the Viking era of Bathory and mix it in with some really epic doom, kind of like Doomsword does. I think these two bands are pretty similar, but all around I think this kind of maintains a little bit more of an old school feel to it, especially in the production. If you guys have heard this production, it's pretty raw, and I think it works really well if you're fans of like Sorcerer and stuff like that. That debut demo from Sorcerer, solid, rock solid doom metal. Another one I got from that same buddy I got the Paul Bearer discs from. This is Curse of Conception by Spirit Adrift. I think I've definitely seen this band before too. I've definitely seen Gatecreeper a bunch of times, even back when Nate was in the band. And this is just a solid traditional metal with a lot of doominess influence in it. And it's good stuff. It really does feel like a retro band, you know, kind of trying to sound like the olden days. And I kind of like that about it, because the people that do that really well, like Nate does, you really tell that they're a student of the genre. And I appreciate that so much about the genre of metal. People are committed, man. Another one of the greatest doom metal bands ever, Trouble, with self-titled or Psalm 9. What can a guy say, dude? What can a guy say? Kind of a hometown hero band, sort of. They're from Cary, Illinois, which is about 30 minutes from where I grew up, approximately. So, just really solid stuff, dude. I just really love this band. Everything about this band is so good. The lyrics are great. The concepts are great. The music is amazing. The delivery is top shelf. Everything about Trouble is just perfect. It's the best, one of the best bands to ever come out of Illinois, if not the best. I'm trying to think of who else I would think might be the best, and it's tough, dude. As far as metal bands go, it's tough. Then I have their second record in a really jacked up sleeve, which is The Skull. Hang on, let me free this thing from its plastic prison. Hammerheart doing useless sleeves as usual. Stop that immediately, Hammerheart. I hate it. But I can't bring myself to throw it out. This is another top shelf record. I mean, songs like Fear No Evil are just so good. Wickedness of Man, Gideon, Pray for the Dead, all around just a top shelf record. Brilliant album cover. I really like that a lot. And obviously, once Eric Wagner left this band, he started the band The Skull, which is a little bit more along the lines of the early Trouble material, but a little bit more, obviously, quite a bit more modern sounding. Those are the only two Trouble discs that I have. I need to pick up Run to the Light. And I do have the self-titled on tape, but I will pick up Run to the Light. I was actually thinking about getting that earlier today. Next, I got a couple from Typo. This is Slow, Deep, and Hard. I really don't listen to this album very often. I'm not huge on it. I don't think it's all that impressive. It's kind of like meh, weird punk with weird guitar tones. If I wanted to hear something like this, I'd rather just listen to Carnivore. But nonetheless, it's pretty decent. I mean, nothing amazing. But this band got better as they went along. This is the Origin of the Feces censored album cover. I always like this band photo. I always love how he just like manhandles a double bass like that. I think it's hilarious. Pretty iconic imagery there. This one, you know, it kind of maintains a lot of that punk edge to it still, but it's starting to get a little bit more towards what they're gonna be, which is an amazing style, being this October Rust. I absolutely love this album. This is a 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned. Perfect record. Love You to Death is so good. So is Be My Druidess. My Girlfriend's Girlfriend. And I love the Neil Young cover of Cinnamon Girl. That's the first time I actually heard Cinnamon Girl from there, which is funny because I'm a decent Neil Young fan. And it's just a great record. The atmosphere is really somber and really dark. The keyboard style that they use and just the signature Typo Negative tones are like this. This is everything you like about Typo Negative wrapped up into one convenient package. I used to think this is barbed wire. Apparently it's rose stems. More you know. Guess. Next, Bloody Kisses. I also like this album quite a bit. The quote on the back is funny. Don't mistake lack of talent for genius. Another really good record all around. It's almost as good as October Rust, but I don't find it as memorable. But I do like it quite a bit. Don't take me saying stuff like that as I don't like this album, because this is probably still an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10 for me, especially in the Typo catalog. I find this one particularly really good. These two are the real highlights for this band. And then I think I'm definitely missing a couple. Here's Dead Again. I still don't know who that guy is on there. Is it supposed to be Rasputin? I don't know who that guy is. But yeah, they kind of got obsessed with Russian stuff for a while. Oh, it's Groucho Marx. It says it on the back. But yeah, just all around really good stuff. I haven't spent a lot of time with this one comparatively, but I will wind up getting more Typo Negative sooner rather than later. And I do I listen to October Rust at least once a year, if not more. Next, one of my favorite albums of all time, maybe my favorite New Wave of British heavy metal album of all time. This is Death Penalty by Witchfinder General. I love this record. I have heard this record so many times it's not even funny. The first thing I ever heard from this band was R.I.P. off of this record, and ever since then I've been absolutely floored. Stuff like Free Country, Death Penalty, the title track, Burning a Sinner are just so good. And R.I.P. First off, you can't understand what he's saying half the time, but it fits so well. The atmosphere is so perfect on this album. It really is impossible to beat as far as doomy New Wave of British heavy metal goes. All around, one of my favorite records of all time. And the last one for this video is Friends of Hell, the second full length from Witchfinder General. They got a lot more goofy on this record comparatively. It's just a really solid record, but stuff like music is kind of goofy. That I love music, it's just kind of goofy. But you know, all around, it's a pretty decent record. It's just not Death Penalty, but you know, how can you really? It's really hard to catch lightning in a bottle more than once, and few bands really manage to do it. But I'm gonna call it that, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll be back with a Stoner and Sludge video here for you in a little while. I'll catch y'all later. Keep it greasy.